Adunni Okafor clutched her swollen belly as she watched the madman who lived under the bridge counting imaginary money in the air. What she didn't know was that this same man had just inherited 3 billion naira, and the baby she was carrying would change both their lives forever. You think you know where the story is going? Trust me, you don't. What Adunni discovers about this mysterious man will leave you speechless. But before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe because this story has more twists than a Lagos highway. 20-year-old Adunni had been living on the streets of Ibadan since she aged out of the orphanage at 18. With no family, no education beyond primary school, and no connections, she survived by selling pure water at bus stops and cleaning windshields at traffic lights. Her cardboard shelter under Dugby Bridge was next to where the locals called Crazy Solomon, a man who talked himself, wore tattered clothes, and acted like he was conducting business meetings with invisible people. But 3 months ago, everything changed during a thunderstorm. Adunni had been shivering in her makeshift shelter when she heard crying, not the usual muttering from Solomon, but real, broken sobs. Through the rain, she saw him curled up like a child, completely vulnerable. "Are you okay?" she had whispered. For the first time in the 2 years she'd lived near him, Solomon looked directly at her with clear, intelligent eyes. "I'm not crazy," he said quietly. "I'm hiding." That night, as rain poured around them, Solomon told her fragments of his story. His name was actually Adunni Solomon Awolowo. He was the heir to Awolowo Industries, but his stepmother and uncle had declared him mentally unstable to steal his inheritance. He'd been living on the streets for 3 years, pretending to be insane to stay safe while his lawyer fought the case in court. "Tomorrow, I find out if I get my life back," he had said. "The court decides if I'm competent to inherit my father's empire." Adunni thought he was delusional, but something about his gentle touch when he shared his meager food with her made her feel safe for the first time in years. That night, they held each other for warmth. One thing led to another, and in the middle of the storm, they found comfort in each other's arms. Now, 3 months later, Adunni was pregnant, and Solomon had disappeared for 2 weeks. She assumed he'd moved to another bridge or been taken to a psychiatric hospital. She was planning to terminate the pregnancy. How could a street girl raise a baby alone? But as she sat watching the sunset over Ibadan, counting her meager savings, a black Range Rover pulled up to the bridge. A man in an expensive suit stepped out, followed by Solomon. Adunni gasped, but this wasn't the ragged man she knew. This Solomon wore a tailored navy suit. His hair was cut and styled, his beard trimmed perfectly. He looked like he belonged on magazine covers, not under bridges. "Adunni," he said, his voice carrying the authority she'd never heard before. "I've been looking everywhere for you." What happened to you?" "I won. The court ruling came through 2 weeks ago. Awolowo Industries is mine. All of it." Adunni's head spun. "You're actually a billionaire." "Yes." He knelt beside her cardboard shelter, not caring about his expensive suit. "And I want to know, did you mean what you said that night? About staying with me no matter what?" Adunni's hand instinctively moved to her belly. She hadn't told him about the pregnancy yet, but the way he was looking at her with such hope and love made her heart race. "Solomon, there's something I need to tell you." Just then, 3 black cars surrounded them. Men in suits stepped out, and Solomon's face went white with terror. "Run, Adunni. It's my uncle. He's not done fighting." Will Adunni escape? What will Solomon's uncle do when he discovers the pregnancy? And is Solomon really who he claims to be? This story is just getting started. Hit that notification bell, because the next chapter reveals a secret that will change everything. The gunshot echoed under the bridge as Adunni ran through the Lagos night, Solomon's desperate scream ringing in her ears. She didn't know if he was dead or alive, but she knew one thing. She was carrying the heir to a billion-naira empire, and people were willing to kill for it. If you thought the last chapter was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. What happens next will make you question everything you thought you knew about this story. Don't forget to like this video if you're a team Adunni. Adunni had managed to escape through the drainage tunnels on the bridge, her knowledge of street life saving her from Solomon's uncle's men. Now, 12 hours later, She sat in a dingy internet cafe in Makola, using her last 50 naira to search for news about what happened. The headline made her blood run cold. Billionaire heir Solomon Awolowo shot in apparent kidnapping attempt. The article said he was in critical condition at University College Hospital, and his uncle, Chief Bayo Awolowo, was devastated by this senseless attack on his beloved nephew. Adunni almost laughed at the irony. The same uncle who had tried to steal Solomon's inheritance was now playing concerned family member to the media. Her phone, a cracked Nokia Solomon had bought her weeks ago, buzzed with text from an unknown number. "We know about the baby. Bring yourself to room 405, Ibadan Premier Hotel, or Solomon dies tonight." Adunni's hand flew to her belly. How could they possibly know she was pregnant? She hadn't told anyone except. The memory hit her like a thunderbolt. 2 weeks ago, she'd fainted while selling water near the university. A kind medical student had helped her, insisting on taking her to the campus clinic for a checkup. The pregnancy test had confirmed what she suspected, but she'd sworn the student to secrecy. Dr. Kemi Ogundamu, the same woman whose photo Adunni now saw on the internet cafe computer, standing next to Chief Bayo Awolowo at a charity event. "That bitch," Adunni whispered. Dr. Kemi had pretended to help her while reporting everything to Solomon's uncle. But Adunni had learned to survive on Lagos streets, and she wasn't going down without a fight. At Ibadan Premier Hotel, Adunni walked into the marble lobby wearing her cleanest dress, still obviously poor, but holding her head high. The security guard tried to stop her, but she announced loudly, "I'm here to see Chief Awolowo about his nephew's baby." The lobby went silent. Hotel guests turned to stare. In Nigeria, family scandals involving billionaires were better than Nollywood movies. Within minutes, she was escorted to room 405. Chief Bayo Awolowo was a mountain of a man with cold eyes and a smile that never reached them. Dr. Kemi sat beside him, looking guilty but defiant. "So you're the street girl who seduced my nephew," Chief Bayo said without preamble. "I'm the woman who loves him," Adunni replied firmly. "Love." Chief Bayo laughed. "Child, you don't understand what you've walked into. That baby you're carrying is worth billions of naira. With Solomon in the hospital, possibly dying, you're carrying the only direct heir to Awolowo Industries. Solomon isn't going to die. That depends entirely on you." Chief Bayo pulled out a document. "Sign this. It's an agreement stating that Solomon isn't the father of your child. In exchange, you get 5 million naira and safe passage out of Nigeria." Adunni stared at the papers. 5 million naira was more money than she'd ever dreamed of. She could disappear, raise her child somewhere safe, never worry about food or shelter again. "And if I don't sign, then you'll discover that street girls die in accidents all the time, especially pregnant ones." Dr. Kemi finally spoke up. "Adunni, take the money. Chief Awolowo is a man you want cross. How long have you been working for him?" Adunni asked her. "Since medical school, he paid for my education. I owed him. And selling out pregnant girls was how you paid your debt?" Before Dr. Kemi could answer, Chief Bayo's phone rang. His face went from confident to shocked to furious in seconds. "What do you mean he's awake? How is that possible?" Adunni's heart leaped. Solomon was alive. "Sir, he's asking for the girl. He says if we don't produce her, he's calling a press conference about the shooting." The voice on the phone said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Chief Bayo ended the call and stared at Adunni with new calculation. "It seems my nephew is more resourceful than I gave him credit for. But this changes nothing. In fact, it makes you more dangerous." He nodded to 2 men who had been standing silently by the door. They moved toward Adunni, but she was already backing toward the window. "You know what's funny about growing up on the streets?" Adunni said, her hand on the window latch. "You learn that sometimes the only way out is down. We're on the 4th floor, you stupid girl." "I know." Adunni smiled and pulled out her phone, hitting the record button. "But I also know that this conversation is being live-streamed to every social media platform I could find. Say hello to Nigeria. Chief Awolowo." Adunni just turned tables, but she's still trapped on the 4th floor with killers. Will Solomon reach her in time? And what's secret about Chief Awolowo is about to be exposed. Subscribe now because the next chapter reveals a shocking truth about the Awolowo family fortune. The hotel room erupted in chaos as Chief Bayo lunged for Adunni's phone, but she was already broadcasting live to 15,000 viewers. Nigeria loved a good scandal, and a pregnant street girl exposing a billionaire's murder plot was pure gold. You thought Adunni was trapped? Think again. What she's about to reveal about the Awolowo family will shake Nigeria to its core. But first, hit that like button if you're rooting for our street-smart heroine. Don't come any closer, Adunni warned. Hold her phone steady despite her shaking hands. All of Nigeria is watching now. The comments section was exploding. Uncle trying to kill nephew for money. This is better than Nollywood. Protect Adunni at all costs. Someone called the police. Chief Bayo's face was purple with rage. Turn off that phone now. Why? Scare Nigeria will learn the truth about how you've been stealing from Awolowo Industries for 20 years. The room went dead silent. Even Dr. Kemi gasped. That's right. Adunni continued, speaking directly to the camera. Solomon told me everything that night on the bridge. How his uncle is embezzling money, selling company properties, and bribing doctors to declare Solomon mentally unfit. The only reason Solomon pretended to be crazy was to gather evidence while staying alive. The live stream viewer count hit 50,000. Chief Bayo's phone was ringing nonstop, probably board members, lawyers, and journalists. The story was going viral faster than a Lagos traffic jam. You have no proof of anything, Chief Bayo snarled. Actually, I do. Adunni smiled. Solomon gave me a flash drive that night. Said if anything ever happened to him, I should give it to his lawyer. Guess what's on it? She was bluffing. Solomon had never given her any flash drive, but the look of terror on Chief Bayo's face told her she'd hit her target. 20 years of financial records, forged documents, bribed officials, even recordings of you planning to eliminate Solomon. It's all there. The viewer count was now over 100,000. Hashtag AdunniLive was trending on Nigerian Twitter. Suddenly, the hotel room door burst open. But instead of more Chief Bayo's men, it was Solomon himself, flanked by police officers and looking very much alive. Uncle Bayo, Solomon said calmly, his arm in a sling, but his eyes blazing with fury. I believe you have something that belongs to me. Solomon, Adunni cried, relief flooding through her. Hello, my love. I see you've been busy exposing family secrets to the nation. Chief Bayo was backing toward the window now, his confidence completely shattered. Solomon, we can work this out. Family doesn't destroy family. You're right. Family doesn't try to murder family either, but here we are. Detective Inspector Adeyemi stepped forward with handcuffs. Chief Bayo Awolowo, you're under arrest for attempted murder, fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. This is ridiculous. You can't prove anything. Solomon pulled out a real flash drive, not the one Adunni had bluffed about. Actually, we can. Turns out living on the streets for 3 years gave me access to places you never thought I could reach. I have recordings of everything. Uncle, every bribe judge, every forged document, every plan to eliminate me. Dr. Kemi was trying to slip toward the door, but Detective Adeyemi blocked her path. Dr. Ogundamu, you're also under arrest for conspiracy and medical fraud. As the police led Chief Bayo and Dr. Kemi away, Solomon turned to Adunni, who was still live streaming to now over 200,000 viewers. There's something I need to tell Nigeria, Solomon said, taking the phone from her hands. My name is Adebayo Solomon Awolowo, and this woman, Adunni Okafor, saved my life in every way possible. She loved me when I had nothing, protected me when I was vulnerable, and just exposed a conspiracy that could have destroyed my family's legacy. He got down on one knee in front of the phone camera. Adunni, will you marry me? The chat exploded with heart emojis and congratulations. But Adunni was staring at him in shock. Solomon, I'm pregnant. I know. I've known since I saw you clutching your belly under the bridge. Why do you think I was so desperate to find you? You knew. I was hoping you'd tell me when you were ready. But Adunni, that baby, our baby, is going to be the luckiest child in Nigeria. They'll have a mother who fights like a lion and a father who will give them the world. Tears streamed down Adunni's face as she nodded. Yes, Solomon. Yes, I'll marry you. The live stream chat was going crazy with congratulations when suddenly new black cars pulled up outside the hotel. But these weren't Chief Bayo's men. These were international news crews. Detective Adeyemi's phone buzzed, and his face went pale. Mr. Awolowo, we have a problem. Chief Bayo just made a phone call from the police car. He's claiming the flash drive is fake, and that you're the one who's been embezzling money. That's impossible, Solomon said. He's also claiming that your mental health records are real, and that you manipulated this girl into helping you frame him. Adunni felt her world tilt. Just when everything seemed perfect, Chief Bayo was playing his final desperate card. Will Chief Bayo's last-ditch effort destroy Solomon and Adunni? What evidence does he have that could turn this entire story upside down? And why are international news crews suddenly interested in this Nigerian family drama? Subscribe now, because the next chapter reveals a secret that will change everything you thought you knew about the Awolowo fortune. The BBC reporter's first question made Solomon's blood run cold. Mr. Awolowo, can you comment on allegations that your family's fortune comes from illegal diamond mining in Sierra Leone? What happened next would expose a conspiracy that reached far beyond Nigeria. You thought this was just about family drama? Think again. What Adunni discovers next will blow your mind and put her life in even more danger. Smash that like button if you're ready for this international plot twist. In the hotel lobby, now swarming with police, journalists, and curious onlookers, Solomon stared at the BBC reporter in shock. I don't know what you're talking about, he said carefully. We have documents suggesting that Awolowo Industries have been laundering money from conflict diamonds through shell companies in Dubai and London. Your uncle claims you discovered this and tried to blackmail him. Adunni watched as Solomon's face went from confusion to horror to cold fury. Show me these documents, he demanded. The reporter handed him a folder. As Solomon read, Adunni saw his hands shaking, not from fear but from rage. This is why he really wanted me gone, Solomon whispered to Adunni. It was never just about the inheritance. He's been using our family company to fund warlords in Sierra Leone. Detective Adeyemi was frantically making phone calls. Sir, we need to move this investigation to a secure location. If what these journalists are saying is true, we're dealing with international crime syndicates. But it was too late. Adunni spotted 3 men in expensive suits entering the hotel lobby. Men who definitely weren't Nigerian police or journalists. Solomon, she whispered urgently. Those men by the elevator. They don't look right. Solomon followed her gaze and his face went white. We need to leave. Now. Why? Who are they? If I'm right, they're cleanup crew. Uncle Bayo just called in his international partners to tie up loose ends. Detective Adeyemi overheard and immediately radioed for backup. All units to Ibadan Premier Hotel. We have potential international criminals on site. But the hotel was huge, and the 3 men had split up. Adunni's street instincts kicked in. These weren't law enforcement officers. These were killers. The service elevator, she told Solomon. Hotel staff use it to avoid guests. I've slept in enough hotel parking garages to know. As they made their way toward the back of the hotel, Adunni's phone, which was still live streaming, captured everything. The viewer count had hit 500,000. Hashtag AdunniLive was trending internationally now. People of Nigeria and the world, Adunni spoke into camera as they hurried through hotel corridors. We're about to expose something much bigger than family drama. The Awolowo Industries' fortune is built on blood diamonds. In the comments, people were sharing the stream. Globally, someone save these people. Nigerian police need backup. This is bigger than we thought. They reached the service elevator, but as the doors opened, one of the suited men was waiting inside. Going somewhere? He asked in an American accent, revealing a gun. Adunni didn't hesitate. Growing up on the streets had taught her that sometimes survival meant doing the unexpected. She grabbed the fire extinguisher from the wall and sprayed it directly in the man's face. Run, she screamed. They bolted up the emergency stairwell, the man's shouts echoing behind them. But Adunni knew they were trapped. There were two more killers somewhere in the building. Solomon, the roof. Hotel roofs always connect other buildings. Adunni, you're pregnant. This is too dangerous. Staying here is more dangerous. As they climbed toward the roof access door, Solomon's phone rang. It was his lawyer, Mr. Adelik. Solomon, don't trust anyone right now. I've been investigating your uncle's claims, and I've discovered something terrible. Your father's death 3 years ago wasn't from a heart attack. What? He was poisoned. Chief Bayo has been planning this takeover for years. And the diamond mining operation isn't just about money. They've been funding rebel groups that have killed thousands of people. Adunni felt sick. The man she loved was the heir to a fortune built on murder and suffering. Mr. Adelik, what do we do? Get to the Nigerian Anti-Corruption Commission office. I'm bringing evidence that will bring down the entire network. But be careful, they have people everywhere. They reached the roof as sirens wailed throughout Ibadan. The live stream showed hundreds of police cars surrounding the hotel, but Adunni knew some of those officers might be compromised. Solomon, whatever happens, I need you to know something. Adunni said, placing his hand on her belly. This baby is going to be born into a better world than the one your family created. What do you mean? I mean, we're going to use every naira of that blood money to help the people your uncle's business partners hurt. We're going to turn Awolowo Industries into something your father would actually be proud of. Solomon stared at her in amazement. You're talking about giving away billions of naira. I'm talking about cleaning billions of naira worth of blood off our hands. Just then, the roof access door burst open. But instead of killers, it was Detective Adeyemi with a team of federal officers. Mr. Awolowo, Ms. Okafor, you're safe now. We have Chief Bayo in custody, and Interpol is coordinating arrests across 5 countries. The Americans in the hotel? Arrested. Turns out your live stream gave us everything we needed to track the entire network. Adunni looked at her phone. The stream had been viewed by over 2 million people worldwide. Hashtag Blood Diamonds Nigeria was trending globally. But as Detective Adeyemi led them toward the helicopter that had landed on the roof, he whispered urgently, "There's something else. We found documents in Chief Bayo's safe. Your uncle wasn't the mastermind. He was taking orders from someone much more powerful." Who? Someone in the presidential administration. This conspiracy goes all the way to Aso Rock. A presidential conspiracy involving blood diamonds and murder? Adunni's live stream just exposed the biggest scandal in Nigerian history. But will they survive long enough to see justice served? And what will they do with billions of naira in blood money? The final chapter will shock you. Don't forget to subscribe because this ending will leave you speechless. 6 months later, Adunni stood in the delivery room of Lagos University Teaching Hospital. But she wasn't alone. Outside her window, protesters filled the streets demanding justice. While inside, the most powerful people in Nigeria waited to meet the baby, who had already changed their country forever. This is it. The moment everything comes together. What happens when Nigeria's most famous baby is born will restore your faith in justice. But first, if this story has blown your mind, hit that subscribe button because the ending will leave you in tears of joy. The live stream that started under a bridge in Ibadan had grown into something nobody could have imagined. Hashtag AdunniLive had become a global movement for transparency and justice. The evidence exposed through social media had led to arrests across 3 continents, the seizure of illegal diamond operations, and a return of millions of dollars to war-torn communities in Sierra Leone. But it had also made Adunni and Solomon targets. Push, Adunni. One more push. Dr. Williams encouraged, as Adunni brought their child into the world. Solomon held her hand, both of them surrounded by federal security agents. The corruption investigation had revealed that Chief Bayo was indeed taking orders from someone in the presidency, but they still didn't know who. The baby's first cry filled the room, and Adunni burst into tears of relief and joy. "It's a girl," Dr. Williams announced. "A healthy, beautiful girl." Solomon kissed Adunni's forehead. "What should we name her?" "Ifeoma," Adunni whispered. "She's a beautiful thing that came from something terrible." As the nurses cleaned baby Ifeoma, Adunni's phone buzzed with video call. The caller ID made everyone in the room freeze. President of Nigeria. Solomon looked at the federal agents, who nodded their permission. Congratulations, Ms. Okafor and Mr. Awolowo. President Tinubu's voice filled the room. Nigeria owes you a debt of gratitude. Mr. President, Solomon said carefully, I'm calling to inform you personally that the investigation has concluded. The person who was orchestrating the diamond smuggling operation from within my administration has been arrested. Who was it? Adunni asked, exhausted but needing to know. My own chief of staff. Someone I trusted completely, who was using his position to protect international criminal networks. Your live stream gave us the evidence we needed to expose 20 years of corruption. The room was silent, except for baby Ifeoma's soft breathing. There's something else, the president continued. The international community has asked Nigeria to lead a new initiative for conflict mineral transparency. They want Awolowo Industries to be the flagship company for ethical business practices in West Africa. Solomon and Adunni looked at each other. This was bigger than they had ever imagined. Mr. President, we accept, Adunni said firmly, but we have conditions. I'm listening. First, every family affected by the blood diamond trade gets compensation. Second, Awolowo Industries becomes a cooperative owned by its workers. Third, 50% of all profits go to education and health care for orphans across Nigeria. President Tinubu was quiet for a long moment. Ms. Okafor, you do realize you're talking about restructuring a Billionaire corporation? I'm talking about building something better from something broken. And if I refuse? Adunni smiled, looking at her sleeping daughter. Then I guess we'll have to live stream that conversation too. The president laughed, a genuine sound that surprised everyone. Ms. Okafor, you've already changed Nigeria more than most politicians do in their entire careers. You have my full support. 3 hours later, Adunni was resting when Solomon brought her phone to her bedside. The world wants to meet Ifeoma, he said softly. Adunni started a new live stream. Within minutes, viewers from around the globe were watching the baby sleep peacefully in her mother's arms. 6 months ago, I was a homeless orphan selling water on the streets. Adunni spoke to camera. I thought my life was worthless. I thought I had nothing to offer the world. She looked down at Ifeoma, then at Solomon, then back at the camera. But sometimes God puts you exactly where you need to be. Under that bridge, I found love. In that hotel room, I found courage. In this hospital, I found hope. The comments were flowing with love and support from people around the world. Adunni inspired me to never give up, from orphan to changing the world. Baby Ifeoma is Nigeria's hope, proof that one person can change everything. Today, Awolowo Industries becomes something new, Adunni continued. Not just a company, but a movement. We're going to prove that business can be a force of good, that wealth can be shared, and that everyone deserves a chance to build something beautiful. Solomon took the phone and added, and we're starting a foundation called the Ifeoma Trust. Every child who ages out of orphanages in Nigeria will get education, job training, and startup capital to build their own businesses. Because every orphan deserves to know they have value, Adunni finished. Every street child deserves to know they matter. Every young woman deserves to know she can change the world. Dr. Williams knocked and entered with discharge papers. Ms. Okafor, you and baby Ifeoma are ready to go home. Home, Adunni repeated softly. For the first time in her life, she actually had one. As they prepared to leave the hospital, Adunni looked out the window at the protesters who had become supporters, holding signs that read, "Thank you, Adunni," and "Baby Ifeoma for President 2050. Solomon wrapped his arms around both his girls. What now? Now we build. Adunni said simply, we build a Nigeria where no child sleeps under bridges. We build businesses that serve people, not just profit. We build a future where our daughter can be proud of her family's legacy. She turned to the camera one final time. To everyone watching around the world, your life has value. Your voice matters. And if a homeless orphan from Ibadan can change an entire country, imagine what you can do in yours. As they walked out of hospital into the Lego sunshine, baby Ifioma opened her eyes for the first time and looked directly at the camera, as if she already knew she was born to change the world. The live stream ended with over 10 million viewers, but the real story was just beginning. From sleeping under bridges to changing nations, from orphan to business leader, from desperation to hope, Adunni's journey proves that every ending is really a new beginning. What did you think of this incredible transformation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing African stories that will inspire you to believe in the impossible. Until next time, remember, you are exactly where you need to be to change the world